Well, I tell y'all that there's another little moment I'll come on here, try to finalize this series out a little bit more, but I say that for these little African mahogany and genuine mahogany things, as the faces of them have already been carved out, we're going to kind of take a little moment just to do a little sanding on them with a little bit of sandpaper that kind of has a bit of a rough grit to it, and kind of go ahead and while we kind of let some facets show, there's little places in here where there just might be little places where the chipping of the wood and the carving just came out a little bit uneven now and then, and how we just work about it, it's just one of those things that makes it so we see a little brighter in us and finally work our way around all the things we do. I say that, oh, I'll tell y'all, we're going to work a way around, make it all kind of come be to what it's going to show up to be. And when it comes down to carving season and carving time, this is just what it's going to really be able to look like. Sometimes there's going to be little moments where little things will come up that we'll have to take care of in the wood, and how that it's going to chip a little bit here and there when we go to taking care of those little bitty things, and then come down to where the chipping around comes its way, and we see how this is making its own way to us. And by now, sooner or later, there's little things we're going to see and have and do. And I say that there was probably another piece like this around somewhere, but it's probably gone away somewhere, no telling where. But in this little moment, we're going to kind of try to work our way a little further around this old Santa here, make it so he's going to see a little things in life. And oh, I tell y'all, as you can see, most of the sand has come off this piece of paper here. One thing I'd like to mention to you is that one thing Calvin Grant always suggested was not using the paperback sandpaper, but to use the fiberback, because the paperback wears too easily. I mean, I tell y'all, we've got a little fiberback piece here, and we're doing the little work we can into with it. And so there's probably little places it's going to come along here, make it so we see the Santa come out the best way it can. And so it's just going to brighten us up to where we can see greater things coming in, taking place. I'm hoping that business is going to get better for me in the next year. Hopefully I get more subscribers to my YouTube and more people get interested in the channel. Sometimes subscribers only come a few at a time, but it takes longer to get more. We don't know how it's going to be over many more years as far as just how it's going to work when it comes to making the crafts and the living and stuff. But I say that sometimes, you know, we retire from one thing and start new things later on. I'd say even my little careers have changed over time. There were times when I sort of did the things I did with music and sort of moved over to crafts. We've kind of got another little lighter grit here, so we're going to try to sand along with that, try to make it so it's going to get rid of that plain old line back there. And once we get rid of that place, we're going to have a little more to do on here. Kind of make it so it's just going to have a little ways to brighten us through and see us all how we come down to doing it. I say that this little Santa is going to make its way around. There's probably some places here, this place on its back you see, we're going to have to apply a little extra TLC to that. And eventually, if we get another piece with a little bit of a rougher grit, we'll get rid of that little mark there. Sometimes I say it almost looks like he has a cyst, almost like the one I had on my back, the one I had to get surgically removed not too many weeks ago. So I say with this work, we're making our way around, seeing what we can do and what we have and what we feel is going to be the best thing for us. I say, oh, the work and the joy of it, I say that this is just a little time in our lives when we'll see a little ways we do, how we do these things and make it so we're going to brighten our futures for the end and for all, and see how it's all going to come out the way it does, and then it's all going to be okay. I say that this may not be a very long video, but it shall be long enough for one of the last two of the series. I say I'll tell y'all that I've only got a couple more days to work in the school cafeteria kitchen and kind of got my summer break after that, like I've been saying. So this is where we're going to work along, try to make it so we can see things a little better, and then it's all going to come down to where we're going to have a little work in our lives to make it so we'll see little better things as to how this is all going to be and how it's all going to end. And then I say that it's just going to be a little work along the way. Probably go down to one last grit, probably I'd say the thinnest grit we got, and we're going to try to sand down with that, make it so it's going to be a little smoother and better. And there's going to come a time in the end when, like you've seen me do with so many of these figurines, put little I Choose Charity Over Bitterness tags on them and laminate them, and then come down to a point where we soak them in the oil after the tag's been laminated with the super glue, and then it kind of goes to show little places through the wood where the slogan hangs on while the wood just rests. And then finally, interesting little things we see. Oh, the things I learned from the things I do, and all the ways we see our lives in it. Oh, I tell y'all, and there comes times when we're going to know what's best for us, see what's good for us, and this is the kind of work that we're working our ways down to and making it so we can see how it comes and how it goes, and oh, the little ways we work on these Santa Clauses and work ourselves into them and make them so they're going to be a little bit of light of a Christmas joy to us. And I'd say that that might get to be enough sanding for now, and finally time to bring this video to an end. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.